In the past couple of months, when I'm charging a vehicle, inevitably someone will come by, stop, and want to know more about it. How long does the battery last? How long does it take to charge? Is it fuel efficient? Is it great? It seems a lot of people out there have questions about EV vehicles, and recently more have been popping up since the issue earlier last year with the gas pipeline being hacked and people run out of fuel on the East Coast. So, in today's video, we're going to discuss this for a bit. Let's dive in. Hi, my name is Wayne and welcome to Wayne's EV Adventure. The topic today is to discuss EVs and should you get one? What are the pros and cons of getting one? I've made myself some notes, so I'll be referring to them from time to time just to keep myself on track. Let's start with what an electric vehicle is. Currently, there are three types that people are familiar with. You have your electric vehicle, that's all battery. You have your hybrid, which is a vehicle that has a smaller battery and a gasoline-based engine. And the third one is the plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, or PHEV. So the hybrid is a HEV, plug-in hybrid, PHEV, pure electric, EV. Now the plug-in hybrid and the pure EV hybrid are the ones that you plug in and charge and drive. Now that being said, the PHEV does have a gas engine, but in most cases, if your commute is around 30 miles or so, and depending on what the range is on your vehicle, you can more than likely go back and forth to work, charge the vehicle at home, charge it when you get at work, and never use a gas engine. A number of people have done this and are quite happy with that. For some people, this is the happy medium between should I go full electric or should I, stick with something that gives me a little bit of battery and a little bit of what I'm used to driving an ICE vehicle, or what we refer to as an internal combustion engine. So some of the thoughts that people have are, what's the benefit of having an electric vehicle? And what are the negatives or cons in this case? So let's go with those. On the pro side, you don't require fuel. You don't have to put in the gas in the vehicle. And once you're driving, you're not polluting the air. So the maintenance cost is going to be less on a battery-based vehicle. And that is because you don't have to change in the engine oil or do some of the same things you normally do with a combustion engine. The next thing is what it costs to charge the vehicle. And today, I think gas is almost $4 or $5 a gallon, depends on where you are. And that's going for like a premium. It'll be a little bit less if it's not premium fuel you're using. So it may differ. In my area, electric rates roughly run from, let's say, 6 or 7 cents per kilowatt hour in the off-peak, or what they call super off-peak period, from like 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. Then you have your regular off-peak, which is probably about 8 cents or so. And I'll put up a chart of that so you can see that. And I believe the highest rate is probably like 23 cents. And that's like in the middle of summer when you're utilizing that during the daytime, or I think it's something like from 2 to 5 p.m. or 2 to 9 p.m., something like that. But most people aren't charging at that time. The other side of that is charging at a public charger, or what's referred to as a DC fast charger. Those range from 43 cents to 31 cents. And I'm specifically talking about Electrify America because that's the one that I use. If you pay a $4 monthly rate, then you get 31 cents per kilowatt hour for charging. So that will save you some money. Now, keep in mind, most people aren't fast charging, you're charging at home all the time. It's quite a drive. Yes, you may hear some electric motor whine from time to time, depending on the level of the vehicle and how much sound deadening material they put inside of it. But, other than that, it's probably going to be tire noise and wind noise, which is definitely going to be quieter than going on the road with your gasoline engine running. And the big pros to this is you can charge it at home whenever you like. Saying that, I know some people live in apartments and you don't have a garage where you can plug your car in every night, but in the future that's going to change. Remember, the world is going electric. And while we're a little bit behind here in the United States, the rest of the world is moving forward with that. So the infrastructure bill has been signed. There are going to be more charge points built out over the coming months and coming years to be able to take care of all of that. And right now, if you look at a charge map, you'll notice that there are a lot of charge points in most cities. So you shouldn't have to worry about where am I going to charge. But if you're charging at home, hey, think about it, just like your phone. You charge it every night, right? You could charge a car every night, but you don't have to. What are the cons? Let's start with a big one that people worry about, the charging time. Yes, it does take longer to charge the vehicle. Why is that? Well, it depends on the battery technology in your particular vehicle. Some vehicles can charge, I think what I've heard today is 0 to 80% in about 18 minutes. Then my vehicle, that will charge in 30 minutes to 80%. Now, if you go up to 100%, it's going to be a little bit longer. And the reason why we stick with that 80% number is because in order to prolong the life of the battery, they suggest you not charge it to the top all the time. If you have an iPhone, Android, most of these devices, what they will do, they'll charge to 80% and then trickle charge throughout the night to get to that 100%. Because usually if you're fast charging the battery a lot and it heats up a lot, it's going to degrade the battery over time, and you don't want to do that. For your normal commute, up to 80% charge, if you're only doing 30 miles a day or so, then you don't need 100%. Most electric vehicles today are somewhere in the range of 200 to 300 plus miles. So you don't need to charge it every day. The other thing that is also a big worry is the range in the vehicle. How far can I go on a charge? Most people don't travel long distances every day, every week, every month. Maybe once a month, once every 3 months, once every 6 months. But somehow in the back of their mind, that argument's been put out there and it kind of sticks in the back of your head. But when you get down to the realities of what they actually utilize the vehicle for, then you realize, no, they don't need to go long distances. So that worry is really not that big of a deal. And to know that today most vehicles are getting around 250 to 300 miles on a charge, and you have charging stations along the way, typically you're fine. So, and again, in the future, there'll be more charging stations, so one less thing to worry about. Now, the one thing that I will say that I've heard, I haven't experienced it just yet because I've had my vehicle long enough, is that because the electric vehicles are heavier, because of course the battery pack, the tires tend to go out faster. Now, tire costs may seem like not that big of a deal, but today when you're thinking about most electric vehicles are wearing 19 up to 23-inch tires, they do get a bit pricey. There are also new tires that are being developed specifically for electric vehicle use. And if you think about it, you know, in the old days we had what, 12-inch wheels and tires, and now we're up to 23. So as time changes, new technology changes, and there will be tires that can support the weight of these vehicles and have long range. So look forward to that in the future, but for now, it is a con. Yeah, so you may be changing tires every 2 years as opposed to every 3 years. And it depends on how you drive, because we know some people, no matter what you drive, you're going to drive hard. And if you want the best grip, you're going to spend more money on tires, and that's not a thing that you worry about. If you want more fuel efficient tires, then some people want to get some tires that give them that extra range out of the vehicle. So, you know, there's pros and cons in both camps. And the other thing that also is a concern is that electric vehicles cost more. And yes, they do at this time. Now, we also have heard about EV incentives, and that will help with the cost of the vehicle. But I want to say one thing that most people don't keep in mind. The way the system is structured here in the US, it is not a tax rebate. It is not a rebate. It's a tax credit. So what that means is if you owe $10,000 in taxes and you get $7,500 for the rebate on the vehicle or the incentive on the vehicle, tax credit, then that will basically negate $7,500 worth of your taxes, and you'll pay $25 at the end of the year. Some manufacturers have gotten smart with this, and what they've done is they basically lease the vehicle and put that into the lease price of the vehicle. So that way you get a rebate, so to speak, and a discount in the vehicle. If you don't qualify for that and you're not going to take benefit of it, then you really won't see it, because that's something that hits at the end of the year. But in the lease, it'll be different. I'm hoping that, you know, they'll change it or somebody will make that change, but it seemed like it's going to be signed into law. Oh, it's already signed into law. So I doubt they're going to change that. But, you know, that's something else for the government. When you're thinking total cost of ownership, when you think about what it costs for maintenance and charging a vehicle, over a 3 to 5 year period of owning a vehicle, you're going to come out less than with a gas-based vehicle. That's another thing that people don't think about. How much do I pay for gas every week or every 2 weeks when I'm driving? How much does my maintenance cost me? That's the big total cost of ownership picture. And typically when you balance that out with an electric vehicle, because you're negating all that maintenance that you're not doing and your charging rates are smaller, you're saving money in the long run. So what you be, you know, thinking about paying out of pocket and for gas, if you combine that and you split it up, that's what I did to come up with the idea of, you know what, this electric vehicle works for me. And a lot of people who are on the fence, when they start to really look into it and you realize the savings on fuel and how much you're not going to pay for maintenance, and you thought about, hey, let me look at my bills, I've been doing this, wow, this is going to be cheaper. So that's why they end up going EV. Now the other big question, the battery. I can tell you from personal experience, when I was buying a hybrid, every dealership that I went to, the salesmen were always trying to steer me away from buying a hybrid vehicle. The battery's so expensive, what if it fails, blah, 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 blah. Like, cars have batteries for years, right? Run the electronics. They fail, they fix them. They don't like die like right away. And if they do, you can replace them. Now, granted, if it fails in an electronic vehicle, it's going to be a big cost. And I say if it fails, that's usually covered under manufacturer warranty. If you drive over something and you damage it, that's probably going to be your insurance that's going to cover it. If it's something you did, took it off-road or something, then that's probably going to be your own cost. So the batteries on these vehicles have a long warranty. Most manufacturers have a warranty from 8 years, 10 years, 100,000 miles, 120,000 miles. And battery degradation happens if you don't treat it very well. Cold weather can affect the battery as well, much like it affects a gas-based vehicle. And people go, oh no, yes, if you live in the winter place and your car has to sit there idling all the time to keep the heat going, you're going to lose some range on it. Just the cold weather alone is going to do it. So yes, it does affect the range of a EV vehicle as well. But when we're all driving them and the range have gotten up to 500, 600 miles or wherever they are, we'll be fine. Now, the other question is charging the vehicle. You can charge at home on what we call level 1 or level 2 chargers, and those are either the 110 plug or the 2240 plug that you use with your dryer at home. You can get one installed in your garage, you can get one installed outside of the building, so you can plug into it. You can do a hardwired connection where it's hardwired into the fuse box, and then you just plug the other end into your car. So there are different options for that. That can charge you up typically, you know, within about 8 hours or so, 8 to 11 hours overnight, depending on your, again, depending on your vehicle. The DC fast charge are the ones that gets you somewhere from 50 kilowatts per hour up to 350 kilowatts per hour. Now those are the chargers. I don't think there's any vehicle that can do 350 at the moment. I know there are 800 volt systems that the Kia and Hyundai vehicles have, and those I believe are about 227 to 250 kilowatt per hour on the charge. Those charge at that rate, and also those are the vehicles that give you 18-minute charge from 0 to 80%. New battery technologies are coming online, solid states and such, and you know, there's even talk about a cable that's been developed to support the 5-minute charge. Imagine that. In the next couple of years, you're charging your electric vehicle in about the same time you did when you were doing it on your gas-based vehicles. And again, this is a DC fast charge. Not something you want to do every couple of days. You want to stick to charging at home, that trickle charge that keeps the battery, you know, happy. That fast charge, while it's great, it's not always good for longevity of the battery. Currently, at least in my area, the charging points that I know of, there's Electrify America, which pretty much goes coast to coast like Tesla. There is ChargePoint and EVgo. Depending on where you are, you may have another brand that's in your area that you can charge at. So they're coming online. If I go to a charge point or EVgo station, those are only up to 50 kilowatts. And I think with the infrastructure bill that's now signed, they're going to get enough money to start building out to support some of these faster charging vehicles. Because in a sense, most people figure, hey, if you're going to go shopping and you're in your local area, you don't need a fast charge. For some people, if you have more, that will support more vehicles, right? Because if you get there and somebody else is charging, you're like, oh crap, I'm stuck, I have to wait. But if you have more and you can charge faster and get away faster, then that makes it available for more people to do that. If you're down to a 5-minute charge, it's like going to a gas station. Holiday rush is usually when a lot of people are driving and you go to a gas station, there's a line. It'll probably be the same thing in the future when it comes to electric vehicle, but that's a whole other topic. I hope with the information that I've covered puts your fears at ease in choosing an electric vehicle. If you still want to go plug-in hybrids, there are some out there for sale, certainly. That can that can tide you into getting an electric vehicle, because again, they're still coming. If you don't have an immediate need and you can wait, there are going to be some great ones coming out in the market. Okay, so I'm going to wrap up now. If you have any more questions about EVs, please post them in the comments. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you, and have a great day.